Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teymur. I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Cologne, Germany, and today I want to talk to you about my experiences with the Apple MacBook. Specifically the 2016 mid-ranged Apple MacBook, the small, tiny, thin one with just one USB-C port and one audio port. So I wanted to try out the MacBook specifically because it is so light, thin, small, and see how far I can take it with my workflow. How much does it get in the way that it doesn't have the most powerful mobile processor and power and all that, and only has that one port you have to basically dongle up or use hubs for and all that stuff. So I took it on vacation with me. I used it with my Nikon D810 files. I used it with 4K video out of a Fuji X-T2, and didn't really change much of my workflow. Imported the stuff. I used obviously a hub to, or not obviously, but I used a hub to import via an external SD card reader to the internal hard drive and simultaneously to an external SSD. And that worked out well. Port speeds were great, didn't see much of a dip anywhere, and just worked as it does normally for me. I should add that I'm using a MacBook Pro from 2012, maxed out though, and it's getting old and it's getting slow, and I need to think about options soon, but that was also a point why I wanted to try this new machine, or this small and different kind of laptop for my travels. I travel kind of a lot for my work also, and do not only work from home, so it would be nice if you could limit the stuff you take with you, or the weight and size of the stuff you take with you, obviously. So I was very happy that most of the stuff really worked well. The problem is you sometimes get to specific points where it doesn't work too well. For example, if you do too many things at the same time, which you obviously can control. But sometimes you need to have the browser open or want to have the browser open and want to import files, and while you're doing that you're editing or starting to edit your photos or go through and sort out stuff and stuff like that. So that's where the MacBook kind of gets to its limits a little bit. If you basically monotask most of the stuff, it works like a charm. I never had a big problem editing photos, importing video files and editing video files. That worked well most of the time. Certainly editing video in Final Cut Pro 10 worked much better than in Adobe Premiere. Unfortunately, I have to say, because I've only used Premiere. But good to know. I mean, if you know that, and if you have kind of Final Cut Pro, or if it's an option for you to buy Final Cut Pro on top of everything else to use on that machine, you shouldn't have big problems when you're editing, doing like small edits and simple edits. So for that was really nice to experience. Also, I think if you have the step up to the next bigger model of the MacBook, it definitely will make a big difference. The biggest problem, funny enough, I had when surfing and using Safari, and I tend to have a lot of tabs open. Let's say something around like 20 tabs or something should be like my average that are open while surfing. That doesn't work really well or at all on that machine. Watching web videos and doing all the regular stuff, not a problem at all. And so I had to learn to limit my the number of tabs I'm using while surfing, which was okay too. So not a big problem there. So for me, it comes down to is the regular MacBook able to replace the MacBook Pro for me? And I think that's a definite no. Would the regular MacBook be a good companion to my MacBook Pro? That would be a definite yes. But not for me specifically right now, specifically because I have a iPad Pro 12-inch, which I absolutely adore and use most days, work and private, so that gets too much. I think having a phone, a laptop, a tablet is already, too much. And they're size-wise so similar, and I get personally so much more use out of the iPad in combination with my MacBook Pro that I don't see any point of getting a MacBook next to my MacBook Pro. Would I get rid of my iPad Pro at some point, or don't use any tablets at all anymore at some point, or even maybe if I would switch back to a iPad mini or something that size, I would definitely think about that a lot more. But if you're looking for something that you can use while you're traveling, that won't get in your way, which isn't heavy at all, which can do most of the basic tasks you want to do with photographs and video, any basic editing needs, and even more than basic. I mean, I stitched panos, I tried HDRs, I edited most of the pictures you will see in my blog post, which I'll link up somewhere around here. And I had no problems at all. Nothing really. Sometimes, sure, it gets a little bit slow, especially with the files. I use a Nikon D810. I think the pictures have 36 megapixels and works well. Works really well. Sometimes, as I said, it slows down a little bit, but nothing that impacted my workflow that much that I got kind of, worked up about it. So next up, screen. Beautiful screen, Retina screen. It's just sharp, it's beautiful color reproduction. Not sure it has like the newest bells and whistles that Apple provides nowadays in several other products, but good enough for me, to be honest. 12-inch might be a tad too small for my taste. I'm used to using my 15-inch MacBook Pro, and it wasn't a problem or anything while on the road, especially while using my 12-inch iPad Pro next to it as a second screen, using Duet, for example. So that was really nice, but the second I got back home and opened up my own laptop with a 15-inch screen and started copying files back and forth and checking some stuff and here and there, it really hits you, at least me, and it is a big difference. And I think it really comes down to specific use cases, I would say. I hope that was a little bit of a help for you. I know it's not a technical review, but I'm also not a reviewer per se, and not a journalist or anything, but just my experience with that machine was really nice. And I think at some point it's the same with camera bodies or camera systems or operating systems or any other thing. It's so specific most of the time, and it's so personal, and like choosing your underwear also, I guess. And for me, I can't see myself using just that machine in different instances. And if you wouldn't have anything else, sure, it works for sure. But for that to be the case or be a case, I think it is a bit too expensive. There are so many other options, even with within the Apple ecosystem, that performance-wise hold up to what the MacBook can do. But if size really is the key point in there, I think there's not much else to think about. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was a little bit helpful for you, especially in the decision-making process, if you're in the decision-making process of buying a MacBook. If not, I hope this was interesting enough to stick around. I'll be trying to make more videos on a regular basis from now on, and get more into the process of doing this and speaking into the camera, which is a bit weird still, especially like this and not having your cell phone to look into. But have a great week and see you soon. Bye bye.